Hello and welcome to the Breathing Room. I'm so happy to welcome Mrunal Pawar to the show today.
Thank you, Rita. Thank you for having me. It's such a pleasure.
You know, you explained there's different types of chanting.
Chanting would be basically of, say, a couple of types, which is, one is the Vedic chanting, which is what I learned. One will be non-Vedic chanting.
I guess it takes a lot of everything, concentration, breath control.
Yes.
So you mentioned that there's different types of chanting. There's Vedic chanting, there's the Bij mantra. Can you just explain the difference and when you should use each one?
So usually the morning time is the best time for chanting practices, because that's when you really have a lot of energy. That's when it's the best time to actually chant, to meditate, to do any of the yogic practices.
And there have been some brain scans done, right? Before and after of just listening to chanting.
Yes.
And it's phenomenal. Like, I think it's a
phenomenal.
couple of studies
even in the brain scans, it's phenomenal. Even as you've known about the Japanese scientist who's done so many experiments with keeping a bottle of water as you chant. Even the particles also change when you chant.
Do you need to be Hindu to do it?
You don't really need to be Hindu to do it. Yes, they're a part of our rituals, they're a part of our pujas, they're a part of our celebrations. But you can simply chant Om.
Would you do a few chants for us?
I would love to. Om.
Hello and welcome to the Breathing Room. I'm Rita Date, your host. I'm a yoga and meditation coach, nutritionist, and author. On this podcast, we talk about M&M, mind, nutrition, and movement. 3 pillars for a healthy life. We'll bring topics that help your mind, body, and soul. So stay tuned. I'm so happy to welcome Mrunal Pawar to the show today. Mrunal is a Kathak dancer. She is a dance therapist. She's also the director of, one of the directors of the Sakal Media Group, a leading media house in Maharashtra. And she's an avid yoga practitioner and teacher. So that's how we kind of connected. I took a few of her classes and she brings a certain energy to the class. She uses chanting between the asanas or in the beginning or the end of the class. And I just thought this was very unusual, and why haven't I experienced this before? And she told me that it's a specific tradition, and we're going to be learning much more about that. But welcome, Mrunal. I'm so happy to have you here today.
Thank you, Rita. Thank you for having me. It's such a pleasure to be with you as a student as well, and even here in the studio.
Yeah. So tell me about your journey. You started as a Kathak dancer, and you always did yoga. But how did the chanting come? Like, tell us about that.
So as a Kathak dancer, since you have mentioned, I've been dancing since I was 10 years old. And yoga sort of came into my life around 2 decades back. And like any other normal person, you end up going to all of these wellness places because there is some ache and pain, some sort of a slight problem that you have in your body. So due to low back pain, I ended up wanting to learn yoga and enroll myself at the institute with Guruji and with Geeta Tai. And that's how really my yoga journey began. So I learned Iyengar yoga for a very long time. All my foundation is completely based and held by the Iyengar yoga tradition. Coming to chanting, when I started doing my teacher training program from down south, that's when chanting was a part of the teacher training sessions. That's when we also chanted certain syllables, where we chanted the Yoga Sutras, that's when really the chanting journey began. And from me, it was extremely intriguing. It was just a very beautiful experience, which really, made me want to explore this even further.
So did you choose it because of the chanting, or it was a surprise for you when you started the teacher training? Or
it was a complete surprise for me.
Really?
I had no idea that chanting would be employed in such a manner, that it would be a part of the asana practice. It would be used as a way of helping one have a longer exhalation, making one work on your breath. So chants were used to have better inhale, better exhalation, and better concentration. And through the asana practice with the chants, also learning the yoga sutras and memorizing them was also a very big part of this program. So that's when really my interest and my curiosity, and I was very deeply inspired by how different it was. Just the way that you have felt, I felt the same aha that this is so different.
Because you said you didn't even hum before you.
Yes.
Or you didn't even, wasn't very vocal.
Yes.
Before you joined.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I have learned music as a child, but it just stays as one of your passions and hobbies, growing up through school and college. But now chanting is a whole different level of a way of being now for me, because that's really opened so many doors, more way of self-exploration, self-discovery, a new way of looking at yoga asanas and understanding voice, understanding articulation in a whole new different way.
So you explained there's different types of chanting. So can you explain to the audience what are the different types? So chanting 101. So how do you explain it?
So chanting would be basically of, say, a couple of types, which is, one is the Vedic chanting, which is what I learn. One will be non-Vedic chanting, which is where you hear Gita, or you hear the shlokas, or you hear so many other vandanas, stutis. All of these come under non-Vedic chants, and the reason that they are non-Vedic chants is because you have the liberty to change its rhythm. You can change the tune, you can change the rhythm, but what you have to again be very particular with is the articulation. The pronunciation still has to be absolutely correct, but you have the liberty of rhythm and of
your voice fluctuation.
Yes.
And
While Vedic chants is you are following the exact notation of the Vedas. You move in 3 swaras only. There is just the swarita, the nigada, where there is a slight little alap, a higher note, a lower note. So we stay within those parameters of chanting. That is Vedic chanting. I can't add my own color to it.
Right.
I can't add my own creativity to it. I have to chant the way it is. And it's also a very sophisticated way of chanting, because this requires constant practice. This requires, a lot of concentration, focus, an understanding of balam. Where to use more strength in certain notes. Like you say bha and dha, from your abdomen. Also, it will be, the kind of where you pause in that entire sentence, in that entire Vedic sentence as well. I can't pause just and take a breath just anywhere that I feel like, because if I choose to pause in the middle of a word, then it may alter the meaning of that sentence. So it's also important to learn where to breathe, where to pause, how to pronounce, what are the 3 swaras in chanting, and the correct and the right pronunciation for that. So it's a very sophisticated way of chanting, Vedic chanting.
And so I guess it takes a lot of everything: concentration, breath control.
Yes.
And language. It's all in Sanskrit?
So it's all in Sanskrit, it's all in Vedic Sanskrit.
Oh.
But the beauty of that is that you also have to, it takes also a while, even if I am learning chanting, or there are so many people who learn chanting, it takes a while to also assimilate and put all this together in your daily practices, where the effort becomes effortlessness, and there's a certain ease, and you really enjoy that harmony, the sound of your own chant, the quietude that it brings. Or the focus on the concentration, the whole poise, the whole poetry of Vedic chanting. It's so beautiful that you need to be in that very regularly to really taste that, to really savor that.
You need to practice every day.
Yes, you need to really practice.
Like a very specific skill, I would say.
Absolutely. You can't be complacent in that. Even though you've learned a chant today and you're able to chant it the whole week really well, if you just take a break for a month, it gets rusty. So you need to really be there focusing on that chant, and have a way of constantly practicing these old chants, because the more you practice, the better that you become at them.
Yeah.
And that's when the real, the fun of really being in Vedic chanting, the whole beauty of chanting really unfolds from there onwards, where the effortlessness begins.
Would you do a few chants for us?
I would love to. So we can begin with a Shanti mantra that is usually said, before the commencement of any session, any occasion, any puja. So it will also make it very auspicious.
Okay.
Bhadrang karnebhyः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्ट्वागुंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति न पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः.
Wow, lovely. I need, just quiet after that also is very nice, right? So I don't know Sanskrit, but I can feel it, right? So you don't need to know the language to absorb the benefits, correct? I mean, the brain is absorbing all the benefits, right?
No, absolutely. I don't know Sanskrit either. It's only when you start learning chanting is when you start going deeper into the meanings of the chant, the meanings of the chant unfold for you. That's also a learning process. But as our gurus, teach us that, learn to chant first, focus on one thing at a time. You can either focus on your breath, on the pronunciation, on the cogency of the entire chant.
I see.
It's how you're chanting it. And then slowly get into
meaning.
Understanding the meaning of the chant.
Okay.
Because Sanskrit also is a language that its meaning depends on its context. So the same word in another chant, in a different context, might mean something else. So chants also have this power of suggestiveness. It can mean slightly different things according to what the context is. So to really understand that grammar, the sandhi, the cogency, one needs to focus one thing at a time. So this Sanskritam is a language that even I have picked up along the way in my Vedic chanting journey.
I see. Okay.
But if there's anyone who is already fluent in the language, it's going to be, we'll be obviously one step ahead, and it will be much more easier because you understand the swaras, you understand the correct pronunciation of the alphabet. And if that understanding is already there in you, it will definitely make the journey more smoother for someone who knows the language.
Yeah, and people who have learned Sanskrit early on in early age, like my husband and a lot of family members, they still remember things, poetry and these kind of chants or shlokas. I'm like, how do you remember this? I guess it's just so ingrained in you,
Yes.
or that language is such that, or that shloka is such that you do remember it, right?
I think what happens with anything, especially with chanting, is that the more you chant, the more repetitions that you chant every single day, the more it starts making grooves in your mind. You start remembering anything that you are, if you want to build a new habit, if you have to learn something new, if you're at it every single day, very consistently, then it starts becoming a part of you. You start memorizing it without really even planning to memorize it.
So you mentioned that there's different types of chanting. There's Vedic chanting, there's the Bij mantra. Can you just explain the difference and when you should use each one, or how it depends on the person and when I know, but like what do you do, or what do you suggest?
So usually the morning time is the best time for chanting practices, because that's when you really have a lot of energy. There is less disturbance, and that's when it's the best time to actually chant, to meditate, to do any of the yogic practices. Bija mantras are again very specific, unless you are given a certain mantra by a guru to chant, or unless you are chanting under someone's guidance. People also give you bija mantras for maybe certain afflictions, maybe for a certain intention, for a certain sankalpa. So that's when it depends. But it's best to actually be guided by a teacher who understands all this, and then you begin your chanting journey under the guidance of such a teacher.
Okay. What if you just listen to chants? That also has a good effect on you,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely. Yeah. That's fantastic. Yes. Those who can't chant or don't have time to chant, you can listen to chants absolutely anywhere. Just as the way we listen to music, going to work, going to travel, just being at home, there is absolutely no time to actually listen to a chant. You can listen to a chant anytime, and even that works just as well. Because finally it's all vibration. We are all beings of energy that connect to a certain vibration. So all of this really helps us to really quieten our minds, quieten our busy minds, because there's so much going on for all of us every single day. Listening to a chant really slows down our breath as well. It brings us to rest our focus, our attention in our heart center.
So yeah, and there have been some brain scans done, right, before and after, of just listening to chanting.
Yes.
And it's phenomenal. Like, I think it's
phenomenal.
A couple of studies
even in the brain scans. It's phenomenal. Even as you've known about the Japanese scientist who's done so many experiments with keeping a bottle of water as you chant. How even the particles also change when you chant. So it's extremely beneficial to listen to any Bhagavan Nama, whether it is Vishnu, whether it is Shiva, just to be able to be there with your complete heart and your mind, and focusing on that. It also makes you want to focusing on any of the Shiva, Vishnu, Lakshmi namas.
And that's my next question.
Helps build up, helps build up that faith also around our deities.
Are they linked to any deities? And do you need to be Hindu to do it, etc.?
You don't really need to be Hindu to do it, but now spirituality and all of these chants are also connected to religion. Actually, there's no religious connect necessarily to any of these chants. Yes, they're a part of our rituals, they're a part of our pujas, they're a part of our celebrations. But you can simply chant Om. Yeah. You don't need to be Hindu or for any certain caste to be able to chant Om. So there are many such mantras where there is, it's not connected to Hinduism. It's about, being spiritual, or being able to have that deeper connection with yourself. And religion is really...
Om has proved that, right?
Yes,
all over the world.
Absolutely. Yeah. So there's no really connection necessarily of mantras and deities. While some mantras are, connected to deities, like Trembakam Yajamhe, will be connected to a Shiva chant. There's a Vishnu Sahasranama, which is connected to a Vishnu chant. But by all means, these are meant for everyone. There's never been any mention in any of the chanting scriptures that
all our scriptures
you
have
don't
that.
chant, and this chant is not meant for you. This, in fact, it's meant for the welfare of everyone, of all of humankind.
So, if somebody wants to learn chanting, how should they start? Like, call Mrunal, I know, but besides that,
get in touch with any good chanting teacher, a good chanting school. Depends upon what kind of chants that you're interested in. If you're interested in simply a chant where you can practice during your pranayam, where you say it aloud and then you do a manasika japa, where you're also chanting in your mind. That's the chants which can be used for pranayama chants. Vedic chanting requires a very, very specific way of chanting and a very specific teacher who will teach you chanting. Also, there are not many schools, many pathshalas that allow women to chant. So that's also another extremely significant thing, that as women, that we are, it's actually grace, and that that we have the environment today. We have the kind of teachers that who are willing to impart this knowledge to us. So in this tradition, in the Krishnamacharya Yoga Mandiram tradition,
Which where you did your teacher training,
yes, which is where my chanting comes, the kind of chanting, the school of chanting that I follow comes from Deshikachar's school. So there they taught all women and men equally how to chant. But you don't see that everywhere. You don't see that in Pathshalas of Maharashtra or anywhere else in India, that women are allowed for Vedic chanting. For other chanting, yes, but not for
Not Vedic chanting. I think you told me a story where you did the chanting and everybody was surprised that you could do it in someone's house or something. Yeah.
So it's unusual to see women do Vedic chanting.
So how do you balance everything? Dancing, yoga, and chanting, and managing your business and home. So can you give us some?
I think it just
and look so good.
I think it just all falls in place, when you have your priorities, where they're in front of you. My chanting and my yoga are absolutely
I think that's
sacred
really
for me.
Yeah, kept you
it's
grounded.
Very sacred for me, and that's something that I begin my day with. With my pranayam, with my meditation, with my chanting practices, and then the rest of the day begins. So I think it just it's how you align everything that you love to do into your daily life. That it's an important part of your life, and you carve out time for it. Until a time comes when it just naturally starts happening. You've created through practice, that groove is etched strong enough.
Muscle memory.
That
get up
you want to do that. And it's not for anything else. It's not to be anything or to show anyone.
Yeah, for you.
But it's just that what you receive from chanting, what you receive from all of these, practices, is so immense. The harmony, the peace, the quietude. It's just, it's a very inward pilgrimage of a person.
Oh, that's a nice way to
so
put it.
All
Inward
of these,
pilgrimage.
so it is an inward pilgrimage, and once you commence on it, and once you're very steadfast on this path, then you start seeing the beauty of this. It starts showing in small ways everywhere. How you are with other people, how other people behave with you, how you in fact manage your home, your business, your family. This is the foundation of that.
Wow.
It's the foundation of that inner pilgrimage, that inner journey.
I love that. I really love that. So these are some things you have brought, your books. Can you just take them and show us what they are?
So this was just something, that I made spontaneously. I love to create and I love to make something. So whenever I take any workshops or I have students coming to me, I want them to go back with the text, but I want them to also go back with something that is very inspiring for them, that they can, place this deity in their heart center and actually focus on this deity while they chant the mantra. So these were just works created just to inspire and motivate people to be on this journey and to know that all of art, all of creativity, everything that we do is so sacred that it's easy to once you keep these things also with you, it kind of adds a whole different beauty, rhythm into the whole journey as well. So it's just to have something very inspiring for you to see, to hold as you commence your practices.
And you've also published a few books. Can you tell those?
Yes, so we published a few books on this concept of Likhita Japa. So just as you chant the mantra and you do Manasik Japa of the mantra, where you chant the mantra in pranayam, in your breath during retention, Likhita Japa is you write the mantra down.
Okay.
So it further strengthens that muscle memory, that the whole idea of devotion towards that deity. So you write the mantra down, preferably at the same time, at the same place every day. It doesn't matter whether you write it once, twice, 11 times, 108 times. So these books that we have made, where the chanting, the whole Likhita Japa series is for 1008 times that you write the mantra down. But you don't have to write it down at one go. You can choose a place, a day, and a sort of a time to begin and just be very consistent with it.
Okay.
So that's also a very beautiful practice for people who want to include a bit more of more of inner journey, more of deeper self-awareness, more of going
writing
under
down
these
things are very
various layers. Yes, because even writing down strengthens that samskara further when you write it.
So in the book, you have it written in English and then you...
There is both English and Devanagari.
Okay.
So those who are not very proficient or who are not very comfortable with writing in Devanagari can write the whole mantra in English as well.
Wow, okay. You're also on Insight Timer. I know
Yes.
this is not the mantra,
Yes.
but that's Insight
It
Timer.
is the mantra.
Yeah, well, yes, Insight Timer is something I like. So I was like fascinated that you are on it.
Yes.
So tell us what you have on Insight Timer. Insight Timer is a very popular meditation app.
So on Insight Timer, I have a couple of mantras where I'm teaching them how to chant that mantra. I'm also teaching them how to use that mantra as a part of your pranayam. I have then two very special courses. One is on Agnihotra and the other course is on Likhita Japa, where it's again a step-by-step audio tutorial on how to commence, how to really do Likhita Japa and how does one begin with the practice of Agnihotra. So these are two very detailed courses.
Oh, wow. Okay.
The rest of the smaller courses are about chants. And it's chant with me. It's learn chanting from me. It's use that chant as a part of your yoga practices.
There's so many avenues, Mrunal. You are on YouTube. You teach so many places. So if someone wants to find you, where should they go? Your website?
They can come on my website, mrunalpawar.com.
I'll put that in the notes.
That's the best place to reach me. And yes.
So before we go, can you end with a chant as well?
Sure. What would you like me to end with?
When you started with the one that was auspicious to start something, maybe something to conclude or give this place a blessing.
Right. So let's do Sahana Bhavatu. That's again
Okay.
a very beautiful chant.
Yes.
Again, it's very auspicious. And usually I use it as a...
Yeah, we've done
I
that
chant
in
it
your
as
class.
a prayer as
Yes.
well. But it's a chant to be chanted at all occasions. So let's do that. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karvavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Thank you, Mrunal. That was wonderful. And yeah, it was beautiful to have you. And I want to learn slowly.
Thank you, Rita, for having me. It was really lovely to have this conversation with you. And I always love to talk about chanting, especially Vedic chanting, because people still don't know much about it. And especially for women, that for more and more women to learn how to do Vedic chanting.
Yeah, so actually I asked Mrunal like last week, is because I've been doing yoga forever. How come I don't know so much about chanting? So she said not many people do.
Yes.
It's very specific to that Krishnamacharya's lineage. But I think we should know more because it is such an integral part of yoga, right? And anything that helps your breath and your mind, you should do. So
Absolutely.
thanks again.
Thank you, Rita. Thank you.